Hello and welcome to the next podcast from San Diego. This is your authority on project, program, and portfolio management. I have a lot of interesting items today and we'll get into them here shortly. But I did want to let you know that PMXPO is available on demand. If you're a PMI member, you can go to www.management.com and find on demand. It's right as you log in. It's got it right there. Again, there's a lot of PMXPO on demand. So as I did last week, I went into Singularity Hub and found some interesting articles that we really need to discuss. And a lot of them today will be on IoT and AI. So the first one is IoT and AI innovate construction and mining. Now, why is that good to the project manager or the program manager and actually the portfolio manager? Well, it shows that AI and IoT are going into every aspect of project management. So if you are a project manager in the construction industry or in mining, you now have to know IoT and AI because it's becoming integral into their industry. So why are they doing it in construction and mining? Well, it's because they have so many accidents in those two industries. Let me get down here. It says they have one Bureau of Labor and Statistics estimated that more than 10,000 injuries occur annually of construction vehicles and maintenance and machine accidents, costing millions of dollars and lost productivity. If your employee is hurt, then you're losing productivity. Then the Japan Construction Occupational Safety and Health Association said there were 300 deaths and 15,000 injuries at construction sites alone. And I'm sure you have heard of mining accidents where miners get trapped and eventually do pass away. So they're using AI and IoT to help minimize that. Again, how does this evolve for the project manager? Well, if you are in this industry, construction equipment is being put in with AI. In fact, there's a company called NVIDIA. It's a Japanese construction company that's putting AI into its construction machines. So they're partnering with Komatsu to put in AI into construction machines. And these construction machines actually look at all of the construction area in 3D and are able to avoid people or able to avoid areas that might cause injury to individuals. So again, you have to do that. So how does the AI IoT involve with that? Well, there's a massive amount of data, and this data has to be sliced and diced. So they're having IoT do that for us. It's coming out of all of these construction business. So if you're a business analyst in the project management area, then you're able to look at what's going on. And so let's jump into the next one. Interestingly enough, Gartner has come out with its Magic Quadrant, and this time it's for project portfolio management worldwide. And they estimate that it's a $2.3 billion industry for project portfolio market. And it's kind of an umbrella software. And I was very interested to see how their quadrant was set up this time. So on the y-axis, it's ability to execute, and on the x-axis, it's completeness of vision. But they then divided into 4 quadrants. You have challengers, which is the upper left, leaders, which is the upper right, niche players, which is the bottom left, and visionaries, which is the bottom right. So I was very surprised to see who the leaders were. The leaders are CA Technologies and PlanView, and then a little bit lower on the scale is ChangePoint, but they're all in the leaders area. I was very surprised because Microsoft is usually in the leaders, and now it's not. In fact, challengers are Microsoft, Sophion, Planisware, HPE, and Sciforma. I was absolutely amazed to see HPE in the challengers. I used to be the business owner for HPE's product when I worked at HP, and it is not a portfolio system. It just houses projects, but it does no slicing and dicing. It actually can't even do resourcing at the portfolio level. So all it is housing the information. I guess if you wanted to call that portfolio management, it's very rudimentary, and I highly do not recommend it unless they do a lot of different things. Other challengers are Sciforma and Sophion. Some of the ones that are niche players are Keyed In, WorkOffer, Upland, and Seri.com. And then finally in the visionaries, there's Clarizen, Workfront, One2Team, One Point Projects, and Project Objects. So what are some of the vendor strengths and cautions as they put it for as was put out by Gartner? So let's start with CA Technologies. And by the way, I download this from CA, so you can imagine that they're very proud of being the number one in Gartner's area. So some of the strengths for CA Technologies was that CA PPM's users experience has been improved in some key areas, including UX improvements for the resource manager, project manager, and time reporter roles. I was interested to see this because resource management has always been an issue with CA Technologies. So it's good to see that they're doing something about that. Another strength of CA Technologies is putting significant investment in integration between CA PPM and CA Agile Central. So that's interesting news as well, because Agile, of course, is just dominating the industry, dominating all industries. Improvements to CA Technologies SaaS deployment platform, coined the continuous delivery platform, currently in beta. So there's good things about the CA Technologies, but some of the cautions that they have are, although the user experience improvements across a number of key user roles are approved, there remains an uneven user experience across the entire product. So again, it looks like it has a big learning curve, as I would expect in any PPM software, but I highly recommend that you download this. You can get it from CA Technologies. It's for free. I will warn you, when you download it, you are now on CA Technologies email list, so you'll get a lot of stuff from CA Technologies. Okay. You know that I really love neuroscience, not the hardcore academic area of neuroscience, but I like to read that stuff and bring it into the project management. So I have one here that talks about why slowing down can actually help us achieve more. When we're on projects, many people are doing many things at one time, so they're multitasking. And it has been shown by many, many researchers that our brain is not wired for multitasking. It's wired for doing things serially. So that's why I found this very interesting, that says why slowing down can actually help us achieve more. If we slow down and look at what we have done, or slow down and think about what we are going to do, we are able to enjoy it better. We are able to be more creative. And that is what projects need nowadays, is creativity. Can you imagine if we didn't have any creativity? We get stagnant. We don't understand why we do things. We are constantly doing the same thing. If you're constantly doing the same thing on projects, then you're becoming stale. And soon you will not be requested to be on projects because you're not a creative person. So take the time to slow down and understand what you're doing on your projects and programs and portfolios. Remember, when I say project, I mean all three. Okay, just a few things of the amazing things AI is doing in healthcare. AI is going to rejuvenate healthcare. AI, I think, will bring down the costs of healthcare. AI will put in so much data that will probably use IoT and discover the cure for all types of cancer. Yes, I'm very optimistic with AI, but I think AI will do amazingly well. So on this article, AI was used to look at moles on people's skin, to detect whether it was melanoma, to detect if it was just a benign mole on your skin. Do you know it was 100% effective? It was also looked at by doctors, and the doctors did not catch it as well as AI. But it was proved that the AI is doing very well because they followed these moles on people and to find out what really happened. So AI is going to change the face of healthcare, and I'm looking forward to all the next steps. So staying on AI, the next article talks about the sweetest of artificial intelligence. Many people are very worried about what AI is going to do for jobs. Jobs they feel are going to go away. Well, this is absolutely correct. But think about when we had laptops come in. Think about when we had data warehouses come in. Everybody was, and the internet, everybody was scared to death that all the jobs would go away, computers would be doing everything. Well, that's further from the truth. What happened was jobs morphed into something else. And that's what's going to happen with AI, and that's what this Swedish study tells us. Yes, many jobs as we know them today will go away, but there'll be many more that will be, and only those that can see, that are visionaries and can see into the future, can tell us what kind of jobs those will be. And I hope to be able to see some of those in the future as well. Okay, going back to brains, how brain stimulation can boost memory if paired with learning. I have given talks before about the three different types of the way we think and the way we can be creative by jumping into those three types. There's the rock star, there's the coach, playmaker, and then there's the rainmaker. The rainmaker is the visionary. The coach, the rock star, is the program manager, portfolio manager, junior portfolio manager, and then the rock star is your project manager, maybe a junior project manager, but they are maybe on a PMO or a part of the team. So if the project manager can help learning, then we can have brain stimulation, and you have creativity on the project. So you have to pair. You can boost your memory if you pair it with learning. So have learning times. Do brown bags. In the United States, brown bags are where you have you do lunch and you provide some type of learning capability. So you might teach something on time management. You might do something on schedule management. So boost memory for people by doing learning, and have people be able to pair it back to you what that learning was. So while we can do Sudoku or do crossword puzzles, which does help brain function, it doesn't help with the memory. So we have to go out and learn a new language. You have to learn how to do triathlons. You have to learn maybe to needlepoint. So you have to learn something, something outside of the ordinary for you, and that will help your memory. So if you're somebody that are finding that your memory is going down, try to do memory with learning something new. Try to learn a new language. There's nothing wrong with that. We need people that understand different languages. So going on with the brain, we have cognitive training helps regain a younger working brain. So again, they're talking about learning. We have to do training in the cognitive areas to make sure that our brains stay younger. And if you do this, then you think like a younger person. And this helps you with creativity. This helps you understand what the younger person is trying to tell you. This helps you stay relevant to technology. So again, training, training, training. I can't emphasize that the most. Training helps you in the cognitive area. Training helps you in memory. Another way to boost your brain power is there's 5 ways to train your brain. So let's go into that and swap out old standards for new skills. So don't constantly do the same thing. Remember, I was telling you, learn how to cross stitch. So that's on your personal side. On the project management side, if you're doing schedules all the time, speak to your project managers and see if you can do financials. Trade off with the person that's doing financials and let them do scheduling. So learn new skills. There's new skills within scheduling as well. Did you know that there's 3D schedules? That's a new area in scheduling. So go learn how to do that. Bring that to your project and incorporate it. Go deep. Go to the next level of learning. So if you're learning the 3D scheduling, learn why do you do 3D scheduling. Don't just blindly incorporate it. What does it do for your schedule? How does it help you with your schedule? With financials, learn how to do a rolling wave in financials. If you don't understand what rolling wave is, that means you look out 3 to 6 months and you start doing the details. You start putting financials to the different tasks. Maybe you don't want to go down that deep. Maybe you do it at the summary level, but learn something new and go deep into it. Tweak your diet. Yes, your brain needs to have a certain type of diet. So one of the things that is really pushed by the academics is the Mediterranean diet. And I hope most of you have heard about it. It's the Mediterranean diet. But there's also called the Mediterranean Dash Intervention of Neurodegenerative Delay. It's called MIND. And that diet helps reduce cognitive decline. So it reduces your decline as you age. So what is that diet? Well, the diet emphasizes nuts, beans, whole grains, poultry, and olive oil. Notice there is no red meat on there. So for you people that really love your red meat, you might want to put it out a little bit and eat more poultry instead of red meat. And again, eat nuts and beans. They're good for you. So are whole grains. Okay, work out. Yes, I'm saying work out. This keeps your brain especially sharp. So if you have a big item that you have to give the next day where you're talking to executives, work out that morning or work out in the afternoon right before you do it. Your mind will be sharper. And then finally, prioritize sleep. I can't emphasize this enough. There's many people out there, and including the President of the United States, that survive on 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Now, some people can do that, but most of us need more sleep. That allows the brain to rest. It allows the brain to put together what you have seen during the day and helps you to emphasize what is real in your organization. And it brings memory and learning back into your brain. So whatever you learned that day, your brain is trying to process it while you're asleep. So give it time. I, for example, need 8 to 10 hours of sleep or else I can't function too well the next day. So again, those are the 5 things. It was swap out old standards for new skills, go deep, tweak your diet, work out, and prioritize sleep. Very, very good things to do. And I do all of those, and I hope you will too. Okay, let's switch a little bit back to AI, and this next article is called The Wild New Materials of the AI in Healthcare and How It Will Rejuvenate the Healthcare Industry. Think about materials. Right now we have 3D printing, and we actually have 4D printing, which I talked about last week. But AI is going to create materials that we haven't even thought about. Think about the holograms on the Star Trek, where they have the holodecks, and you can actually feel like you're riding a horse or you're going on a NASCAR ride. That's going to need materials, new and different types of materials. So that will be the AI area there. Or think about areas where it's creating new foods. So you go in and you go to what appears to be like a microwave on Star Trek, and you say, hey, I want a bowl of oatmeal, and it creates the bowl of oatmeal, and it also understands how you like oatmeal. I, for example, like oatmeal with a little bit of maple syrup. So it would automatically, when I say I would like a bowl of oatmeal, it would do that. Or if I'm trying to stay on a diet, it would know that I'm trying to lose some weight. Or if I've got coronary artery disease, it will know that what type of food I should do. So maybe even though I want a steak, it's not really a steak, it's really poultry that looks like steak. So those are the materials that we will have in the future. And I'm looking, and I hope that in my lifetime, I will see it. So let's switch gears to the Project Management Institute. I've talked about Projectified in the past, and there is a new podcast out there. It's called the 2017 Project of the Year, Complexity and Risk. So the Project of the Year for PMI is announced at the Global Conference, and this year it's in LA in October, and I'll give you the dates in a little bit. But this was the one for 2017, and it's a 42-minute podcast. I highly recommend that you put it in the background while you're doing something. There I go with multitasking, which you really shouldn't be doing. If you have the 42 minutes to pay attention to it and just listen to it, go for it. But if you don't, put it in the background, and when you hear tidbits that sound good or something that you really would like to introduce into your area, just go ahead and stop what you're doing and listen to the podcast. It's very interesting. It's got some real life things that you might be able to put into your projects. So I do recommend listening to this podcast on Projectified. Finally, what's going on in the world of project management? Well, there's a Seminars World in Seattle, April 9th through the 12th. A Seminars World in Minneapolis, April 23rd to the 26th. A Seminars World in Dallas, May 7th through the 10th, and I think I've gone far enough. So let's talk about PMI EMEA Congress. That's happening May 7th through the 9th, and it's in Berlin, Germany. You need to get signed up for this if you live in Europe. It's really a lot of good information that is put out in the EMEA Congresses. The PMI Global Conference is in Los Angeles this year. It's October 6th through the 8th. Another good one is the PMO Symposium. That is really for senior practitioner and academics. I highly recommend that. I have gone to it many times. It is very good if you are a senior level project manager or a program manager, and especially if you're a portfolio manager. I highly recommend the PMO Symposium. It's November 11th through the 14th, and it's in Washington, D.C. There's a PM Summit, November 12th, and it's in Munich, Germany. There's upcoming vendor-specific events, Future Trends in Project Management, a 6-part online series by Harold Kersner. Kersner is a dynamic and good speaker. I highly recommend that you see it. It's on April 4th, and it will be live online. So that's exciting news to have Dr. Kersner talk to us about what he's seeing in the world of project management. So finally, I would like to have you go to www.pmcurrent.com, sign up and subscribe to my YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. I would love to have you following me. If you don't see something that I cover that you would like to see me cover on this podcast, please reach out to me. My email is wanda@pmpowered.com. If you disagree with me on anything that I have said, please reach out to me. If you are doing stuff in the brain area, I would love to hear from you, because we can have a discussion on what you do in the brain areas, especially if you're an academic, and I can bring it to the practical areas of project management. I would love to hear from you. Send me an email and we'll get you on the podcast. Finally, remember, every Monday is the podcast, so stay tuned for next week, and I'll see you next week. Take care.